So guys, what's going on? Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. So guys, Canelo Alvarez has come out and responded about the Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford video. Firstly, I want to say that I'm not surprised that Canelo Alvarez has addressed this, and I think he's probably getting a little bit frustrated with all the Crawford questions. But he's come out today with a surprising comment. He said that Terence Crawford has only faced one good fighter in Errol Spence. And apart from that, he hasn't really fought anybody. But what I would say is that Errol Spence was a quality fighter and Terence Crawford made him look average. You know, Terence Crawford hasn't really had a hard fight. And look, people want to say Porter, Brook, Khan, Benavidez, all these guys that he's fought, and he's made them Kavaliauskas, Jeff Horn. You know, I know Canelo's saying, obviously, Crawford's resume isn't as deep as Canelo. But at the same time, Crawford's made everyone that he's fought look very average. And he's fought good fighters. I mean, to say that Khan, Brook, all these guys are shit fighters, Porter, Benavidez. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, some of those guys were at the end of their career or whatever. But nevertheless, you know, they're still experienced fighters that have been fighting at championship level for quite a long time. And Crawford made them look like poor. I mean, he made them look average. He washed them, you know, and stopped them badly. You know, Porter had never been stopped, and he stopped Porter, you know. So, I mean, and Spence had won every fight, and he completely dismantled Spence. So I don't feel like you can just overlook what Crawford has done. And he's become undisputed in 2 weight classes. I mean, to say that he's only beaten one good fighter, I think it's unfair. I think Crawford's an unbelievable talent. And I think I think it's not the fact that, okay, you may say some of the guys that he's beaten are not on what Canelo Alvarez's resume. However, he's beaten everybody well. I mean, there's no one that's really giving him a tough fight. He's never had a close fight. He's never had a fight where you can say he lost, like Canelo, for example. Canelo, okay, he lost twice against 2 great fighters in Mayweather and Pivot, but he's had other fights as well, like Golovkin fights, which were close. And then he had other fights with, like, Lara, which was really close. You know, Austin Trout wasn't exactly a washout, you know. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. So you can't really just diminish, you know, what Crawford's done and say he just washed everybody, because out of the guys that he's fought, they were still some top fighters there that had achieved a lot in the sport, and he completely brushed them off. Whereas Canelo's had hard fights. He's had hard, close fights where it could have gone the other way. You know, so at the end of the day, I feel like you can't just diminish Crawford. But at the same time, I still don't think Crawford has any chance against Canelo. I mean, I think Canelo would beat him quite comfortably, because I don't think Crawford can really compete at that weight. I don't know how he would compete at that weight. I think it would be impossible for him to compete at that weight. So, yeah, I don't give him much chance against Canelo. But I don't think Canelo can just, you know, say that he's only fought one great fighter. And, you know, and a lot of some of Canelo fans now are saying that actually Spence wasn't that great. You know, so the point I'm trying to make is that you can keep trying to diminish somebody, but what determines great? People could say Golovkin was shit. People could say, you know, I mean, who did Golovkin beat to be great? I mean, let's be real. Who did Golovkin beat to be great? He never beat Canelo. I mean, on paper, although some people think he beat him, a lot of people thought he beat him the first time. But on paper, who did Golovkin beat? When you think about it, you know, when you, like, even like Danny Jacobs gave Golovkin a very tough fight. You know, some people even had Jacobs winning that fight. And then, you know, and actually Canelo, one of Canelo's best performances, in my opinion, was against Danny Jacobs. You know, that was an unbelievable performance, actually. But if I'm not mistaken, prior to fighting Jacobs actually gave Golovkin a very tough fight. Some had him beating him. But then Golovkin gave Canelo 2 really tough fights. So look, I think you can say, oh, well, he's fought that guy, he was past his prime, this, that, the other. The fact of the matter is that Canelo's fought on better opposition. He's probably had better competition in around his weight classes where he could fight the top fighters. Crawford's not really had that, if I'm honest. He's not really had that. I mean, if you look at what he was fighting at 140, there wasn't a lot of talent there. If 147, I mean, he's cleaned out what he's need to clean out. He's fought the guys that he need to fight. You know, okay, you could say he probably hasn't fought Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman, but let's be honest, like, who gives those guys a chance against Crawford? Crawford's fought everybody that he needs to at welterweight and light welterweight, and he's cleaned everybody out. Now, if he wants to move up, I feel now whatever he goes on to achieve in boxing from this point is a bonus. I think this point, if just put it this way, if Terence Crawford goes up to 168 and beats Canelo, he can make an argument. He can sit on the table and say, I'm one of the greatest fighters of all time. If he was to do that, I don't think anyone would argue. I think genuinely he would have a claim to that, because that would be an incredible achievement. And I don't think any of you would argue with that either. Because to become undisputed in 3 weight classes and then to go up and become undisputed at 168, that would be phenomenal. I don't think you'd ever get a fighter that would ever do that again in history. And then not just to beat anybody, beat a super champion like Canelo. So yeah, I think Crawford is a special talent, but I don't think he can beat Canelo, and that's where I stand with it. But I think Canelo Alvarez is probably interested in the fight. Canelo Alvarez is probably getting a little bit frustrated because people are asking him about Crawford, and he probably feels that I'm not really going to get any credit for this fight, and he is a good fighter. But I just don't think Terence Crawford has. I don't think Terence Crawford has the defensive ability. I think he's an offensively minded fighter. So unfortunately, I don't think an offensively minded fighter moving up weight class, jumping up that much weight could beat someone like Canelo. Because I think you have to be very defensive, like a Mayweather. I think Mayweather was very defensively, and obviously Canelo wasn't as developed then, but regardless of that, Mayweather is very defensively sound. I don't think Canelo could ever beat Mayweather, or anybody could beat Mayweather, because I think Mayweather was so defensively good, you couldn't get to him. You couldn't get to Mayweather. And Canelo Alvarez is a very good technical boxer. Do you understand? So Canelo Alvarez ain't a Maidana where he's going to go in there and swing wild and or having a more ruthless approach. Canelo Alvarez is a technical sound fighter. He doesn't fight like Maidana. Maidana was rough around the edges. Maidana would go in there, headbutt, hit him low. Maidana was a more rough and tough. Like, he was a different kettle of fish. He was a different type of pressure fighter. Canelo's a technical fighter. You see, Mayweather would have a field day with Canelo because he's a technical fighter, and you can't outbox Mayweather because Mayweather's just too good, right? Maidana was more rough and tough. That's why he was able to give Mayweather trouble, because Maidana was, he was just different. He would go in there and put, he'd elbow you, hit you low, he'd, throw shots, unorthodox shots. Canelo's not that. Canelo's a technical fighter, right? And he's also very fast. He's deceptively fast. Look, Amir Khan said that Crawford shouldn't fight Canelo because it's a different kettle of fish. It's power. It's just different level. Yes, you could say that Crawford's level is higher than Khan. Yes, of course it is. But that's not the point. The point is that Crawford would have Canelo's jabs, Canelo's body shots. Canelo, it's too much. It's too much at 168. Canelo Alvarez is a fully fledged 168 now. He's hitting hard. He's knocking guys out at 168. He's hurting guys at 168. Guys at welterweight, a guy from welterweight, I just can't see standing any chance. And not even a natural welterweight. Even though I think Crawford now isn't filled up into the weight, but yeah, no chance for me against Alvarez, to be honest. I think Canelo doesn't get the credit. I think Canelo's a very good boxer. He's a very good fighter as well. And I don't think Canelo gets the credit because people say, oh, he's got flat feet, this, that, the other. No, Canelo's an exceptional talent. He just doesn't get the credit for some reason. I don't know why people seem to think that Canelo's not a very good boxer, but actually Canelo is a very, very top boxer. And he's got very good ring IQ, and he's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of experience against a lot of top names. He's got a lot of top fighters he's fought. And he's not afraid of taking a challenge. I think it's at this point in Canelo's career where Canelo wants to fight. He wants to fight the biggest fights. He wants to fight everybody. But really, I think the Crawford fight is a fight that I think he needs to fight Benavidez, because that's a fight that everybody wants to see. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you actually think this is a possibility? Do you think this fight comes off? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.